A couple more bashes, and it fell away. They opened it. Chapter 1. Thursday, the 28th of November, 1929. The rain, that had been falling heavily all day, held off for a few minutes as Arthur Skelton emerged from court. There was a bounce to him. He'd won his case. The press photographers, sheltering under the portico, spotted him immediately. It wasn't difficult. A skinny 6'3", he loomed over any crowd, his pebble-lensed glasses twinkling. The press mob pushed their cameras into his face, and he smiled obligingly, until they saw the meteor prey of his client, Addison Lyle, the BBC announcer. Some weeks earlier, Lyle, while announcing a talk entitled "What is Right," given by the eminent philosopher Sir Harold Overton, had mispronounced Overton as overdone. It's doubtful whether 1 in 1,000 listeners noticed the mistake, but it put Overton off his stride. His talk was fraught with stumbles. The phrase "fundamental principle" came right only after several attempts, and an entire paragraph about the contribution made in the field of ethics by the 17th century German philosopher Samuel von Pufendorf caused so much trouble he abandoned it entirely. After it was all over, the microphone turned off and the studio door opened for ventilation, Hilton Scott, another announcer, and Marjorie Demery, the mezzo-soprano, chatting in the hospitality room a little way down the corridor, heard angry words being exchanged between Lyle and Overton, then sounds of a scuffle. They went to investigate and found Overton lying unconscious on the ground with a telephone in his hand. Lyle was poised above him, brandishing a Marconi Reis carbon granule microphone with table stand. A doctor was summoned. When he regained consciousness, Sir Harold claimed that Lyle, as appearances had suggested, had struck him with the microphone. Furthermore, he claimed that Lyle had mispronounced Overton because he was falling down drunk, and indeed had, upon arrival at the studio, actually fallen down. After the broadcast, the two men had had words, and Lyle, inflamed with drunken rage, had attacked him. The police took Lyle into custody. He was the first BBC announcer ever to be arrested for a crime committed during the course of his duties. For the newspapers, leery of the effect that wireless was having on their circulations, it was Christmas and birthday all in one. They called the BBC the Bish Bash Corporation and suggested that the entire organisation was a coven of dipsomaniacs and mountebanks. The BBC, worried that their reputation as a God-fearing bastion of moral rectitude might be in the balance, put the matter in the hands of their own solicitors, who instructed Arthur Skelton, the Yorkshire barrister, who'd recently found fame for winning a couple of apparently hopeless cases. Skelton did try to point out that in this case the evidence weighed so heavily in the plaintiff's favour that it was not so much apparently hopeless as plain hopeless. Sir Harold was 72 years old. His voice was a measured rumble that hypnotised the listener with its seashore cadences. He was Master of St. Luke's College, Oxford, advisor to the League of Nations, and a Nobel laureate. During the war, he'd spoken in favour of pacifism, but never with the vehemence required to merit an arrest. He'd played tennis with Gandhi. Addison Lyle, on the other hand, was a BBC announcer, with all that implies. Lyle claimed that he'd acted in self-defence. Overton, he said, irrationally enraged by the harmless slip of the tongue. "I once introduced Vita Sackville-West as Rita, and she didn't seem to mind," had started it. The Master of St. Luke's had bludgeoned him several times with the telephone, leaving him no option but to strike back with the first thing that came to hand, which was the microphone.